Hello, 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 and welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast. I am Lana, your resident diva, here to get the tea, spill the tea, and I always like my tea piping hot.
Yes. And hey, baddies, it's Tajja with the fatty here to give you some tea for you and me. And
And we have a special guest with us today. And, you know, it's this is a queen panel here, so we might as well invite the queen. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, if you don't know who I am, I'm Robyn, and from the Penthouse season 4 that we're here to discuss today. And I'm ready to spill this piping hot tea because I have a lot. I've been watching the show and watching the podcast, and I have so much to say about so many things because, we all have our different experiences, obviously, being there. So I hope I could fill in some plot holes that y'all want to know.
Period. Because that's what we're here for. That's what we're here to
yeah,
do. We're here to talk about the penthouse, and before we jump into the episode, because it's a lot to talk about in this episode. A lot.
We've been fed. We were fed.
Like things have shifted a little bit, a lot of it. I won't even say a little bit. It's shifted a lot of it in this episode. But
We restarted, baby, and we went off.
But first, before we do that, I want to ask Robyn about the experience. How did you feel in the pen? What was your experience? Because we talked to Audrey and we talked to
Austin and Kyle.
and yeah, so we want to know what your experience was like. What was going into that house like? And
Yeah. Yeah, I want to say, okay, so Arkansas, we filmed there, and going into this experience was kind of my first grown-up experience. Meeting y'all in Chicago was like the second grown-up experience because I've never taken like a flight by myself somewhere that wasn't going to see family. So that was a major change for me, traveling alone, traveling to a strange place with people I don't really know. Luckily, there were some people that I knew, like Josh and Derek, and people that made me feel comfortable enough. And honestly, if it wasn't for Josh Calhoun, I wouldn't even be on this show because he literally was on my neck about like signing up because applications were dwindling down, and I didn't know, if I could get on a show like this, how I would do on it, because we come from this mini world, and I'm like, how would I do on a live show? Will people hate me? Will my gameplay translate into real life? So the experience is going in, I was very nervous getting there. I think Austin talked about it a lot, but we were sequestered at first, so we didn't see anyone really. But I did get to see some people as we got picked up from the airport. But the only person I knew when we got picked up was Keaton, and I was like, what is he doing here? I'm like, who else do I know? But most of the people I did not know. So I was like, okay, the cast is looking good. People might not know who I am and what I could bring to the table. And yeah, it was really fun because when I got there, Josh gave me like where the rooms where we filmed the confessionals in, as you guys see, that's like the penthouse room. And Josh gave me that room to be sequestered in, and it was really, really nice. The room was super big and my own bathroom. Yeah, overall, the first few days there, I was kind of nervous, but then I definitely got into my own after like the first challenge and getting into like in mini games, we're online and I'm not as nervous because it's not like meeting people face to face, but in person, y'all know this or I say it, I get a lot of anxiety about meeting new people, but seeing familiar faces like Austin, Julia the first night, it was definitely a more calming experience, which I don't want that to take away from everyone else's experience because I know there was a talks about like people knowing each other and this and that, and yes, I knew Austin and Julia and things like that, but we weren't like friends before this experience. You know, we've just known each other from the community.
Mhm.
And did it help us a little bit? I would say yes, but it also, you know, it's not just about the bonds that we had before that. It was about what we established in that game and if we could trust each other in that game. Because
Mhm.
yeah, we could know each other
Mhm.
outside, but that doesn't mean we're
Right.
going to be together really in the game, and our bonds from outside might not translate very well, like meeting each other in person. I mean, it did, but it's not always the case.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because I know people were saying that they did, like Audrey in particular was like, oh, how, she didn't have people outside of the game. And, yeah, I don't make the cast. I didn't cast the people. So, like, I didn't know who was going to be on there. So, like, you know.
But you navigate through games really well regardless.
Yeah,
Even
I
if
think
like you
so.
don't know people like that. So it's like
Yeah.
it's just an attribute of yours. But I did want to ask you, how would you like describe your gameplay? Or like if you could think of like a couple words to describe your gameplay, like what would they be? Besides snake. No, I was kidding. Just kidding.
I wouldn't say I'm a snake. I think particularly in this, and I've done it in many games too, but particularly in this game, it takes me a while to get to trust people. And in a game like this, you guys are seeing everything come out slowly, but like Kyle and I think Audrey has mentioned it, it's a very fast-paced game, and trying to get to know people and develop relationships in that short period of time can be hard. And especially, and it's been brought up a bunch of times about the first night, us being in split houses, and
Hmm.
7 people were in one place and then 11 people were in the other house. So that kind of also, like, night one, forming those bonds. And even though I think Kyle said that we were allowed to talk game during the first night when we were just hanging, but we weren't. Like, that was a misconception he said, because they literally said, like, we could hang out, we could hang in the hot tub or whatever, which we did at our place, but y'all can't talk game. Did that stop people from talking game? No, because we weren't being monitored by anyone. There's a lot of that plays into a lot of the gameplay we see, like
Mhm.
Obi or Mona saving me when I was in the bottom, and all that blah, 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 stuff that happened behind the scenes really attributed that to the relationship. And that's why Jada was hella confused about, like, why is she saving Robyn over, me? But yeah, so a lot of, what was your question? Not me going on a rant. Did I
Describe your
answer
gameplay in a
it?
couple words, not a whole
Oh,
essay.
yeah.
No.
No, but I would say social, definitely.
Mhm.
Social, sneaky. What's another S word I could go? So, superior. I don't know.
Oh,
Okay, wear
period.
the crown. Wear the crown.
Period. Love
The
that.
3 S's of my gameplay, I guess.
Love that. Okay, so um, when you got to the house and you saw this cast and met everybody, and what I think you spoke on it a little bit. You touched on it. You were like how you were shocked to see some people you knew, but then realized that you didn't know a lot of people more. You didn't know more people than you knew, so that was
Yeah.
a good thing for you because then you were able to work those social skills that she was just talking about. But was it? I'm trying to figure out if I could ask this without giving away anything that we haven't seen yet, because I don't want to put you in that particular
Yeah.
predicament. But like, I was gonna say, was it like? Because I know some people. I think we talked to Audrey. Audrey was like she was vibing closer with certain people the first night or the first few nights or whatever, and just wasn't vibing well with some people just like right off the bat. Because I was wondering with her, why was certain people just so obsessed with getting her out of the game so much? It was like, girl, you got to go, you got to go. So was
Hmm.
it? Did you have like the same experience? Was you like certain people you could vibe with right away, and then certain people was like you just knew I'm not gonna vibe with this person. It's just
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, because y'all obviously have seen me, and I'm gonna bring out mini games a lot tonight because that's the community I'm in, and y'all
Mm-hmm,
know me very well, and we
mm-hmm,
play a lot of games very well. so I'm gonna keep referencing that. But as in like mini games and stuff, like the most people, right off the bat, I have biases of who I'm gonna work with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like women of color. That's like on a priority top of my list, or just people in color in general. Like I wasn't like checking for the Matts, or I wasn't checking for the Audreys, because I'm like, those are people I wouldn't really work with in real life.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, night one happens, and those are the people when we're in the meeting phase of it. Of course, I'm trying to make social bonds with everyone, but I'm trying to stick to the people that I know I'm gonna actually work with, like Mona, like another trans person in the cast. I'm like, I want to work with you and go far with you. The same thing with Xena night one. I was like, I want to work with Black women. I want to work with women of color, and I hope we could do something in this game. And then Julia, of course, my Asian sister, I was like, girl, we have to do something. This is our moment right now, on a show like this. So, of course, for me, it's like easier to form bonds. But of course, again, night one, after that, we split into different houses, and I was stuck in a house with, it was just me and Amanda were the only femmes in the house, and all the other guys were there. So I was like kind of forced to kind of have to talk to Matt and like John, like people that I don't think I was like
Mm-hmm.
normally aligned with. But then that also I think was good for me, because I got to know those people kind of like on a one-on-one basis. And that's why even like when people were trying to vote out John, I was trying to flip the house in John's favor, even though he, at the end when he left, he thought I was a snake or something. But I'm like, I was trying to save you. But of course he didn't see all that. And then like with Matt, in that case, oh my God, it didn't show in the show, but I would admit it here on y'all get some tea here. So sip, sip, sip. But it was between Jada and Matt. And girl, I know I wasn't gonna go after women of color, but I was like, I see myself working more with Matt, and I did vote out Jada, even though it didn't matter because people were voting out Matt anyway. But at that point, my reasoning for voting out Jada at that point was Jada was connected more, and Jada, this was her second time, So I was like, I want Matt as a fresh player to last longer, even though he didn't. So that was like my way of trying to like make different kind of bonds that I never thought I would, like coming from this world and my usual gameplay of who I usually work with.
That's good. And I think in all like we have to sometimes step outside of who we normally would work with and come to, because it's I'm finding myself in more games, like you said, these mini games. Like I can't work with the same people because then people catch on all the time, and so it's like sometimes you have to flip the switch, and some people you usually would never ever work with, you find yourself like working with them, and it works in your benefit, I feel. And I feel like it's working in your benefit definitely in this game.
Yeah, and sometimes you work with the people so much, sometimes you're the heavy hitter in that group, and you're always
Mm-hmm.
beating them. So every time you guys work together, they go, "Well, cut your ass." So you have to like correct that.
So we're gonna get
Sounds familiar, doesn't it, Robyn? Sounds familiar. I feel like I
Robyn Phaedra final two. No,
look. I feel like we've been in this scenario, Robyn, where we decide one of us. I ain't gonna say who, but one of us decided to cut somebody early because somebody always say they always beat you. I'm just whatever. It's fine. it's okay. I don't mind being cut by Robyn. It's fine.
Listen, y'all will see gameplay coming up from me that is not like me, and I feel like people are gonna either love it or hate it. Mm-hmm. And I went in there to play hard, and that's what I did.
Well, I'm a Robyn defender.
Okay.
Robyn literally taking all white men to the whatever. I'm like, you know what, my sister.
I mean, there's no more white men in the game anymore. Keaton and Matt's gone. I mean, unless you count Austin and Nathan, but they're both Asian also. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so speaking of moves that we've not seen or people will either love or hate, I can't have you sitting here without discussing this one move in particular that we've already seen that
Oh
caused a
Lord.
little, shakety shake up in the house that people were like, and it was, I feel from what I read on timelines and things, people were split on how they felt about that move. Some
Yes.
people were like, yes, Robyn, do that. And then other people were like,
Do
Huh?
that.
what are they doing? Like, that is too much, too soon.
Too
What
early, yeah.
what was going on in your head when you decided to do that switch power move and be like, look?
Yes. So as I was gonna tell Edmund, before he put me, which I'm glad he saved me and put me at the ranking that he did, because I was literally gonna tell him, I was gonna be like, I'm gonna get the switch. Like I had a feeling. I was close with Jules,
Jules.
sorry, Jules and Austin. So I was like, they're gonna give me the switch, and I'm about to switch myself out. And I was gonna let Edmund know, you better not place me in the bottom booth because I'm gonna be the switch. So he placed me at a correct position, and I got the switch like I knew I would get. And in the game, it's unpredictable, right? We had just got into that's like the second challenge. I haven't won anything. I haven't found the card. You never know how the game's gonna go. You never know when you're gonna be eliminated. So of course, I'm not there to just have a good gameplay. I also am there to put on a show. Okay, so that's how I was like, I have this power. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get any type of power in this game ever again. So I'm going to take this moment and call people out. And of course, people didn't really say any names. People were kind of living for it. People were against it. Like, why are you calling out these vulnerable people already? But that's the kind of shit I do to kind of shake up the game a little bit, make it more interesting, because a lot of the girlies that were saying that I was doing too much are now gone. By doing too little. So, no offense, but the facts are facts. And also I knew, and I think you guys said it on your podcast, I know myself, I know the connection that I made so that I could do that without facing repercussions or people giving me the side eye. Because as you see, it meant nothing going into the other episodes. People are still not seeing any type of really the things that I'm doing behind the scenes. I'm still faded into the background after that. So.
And regardless of how people feel about it, you still made waves. So you still got the girlies talking about it. So
yeah,
some people can't relate.
The only thing I'm upset at myself for is that Nathan's the only one who said an answer and I didn't switch his ass. So I was like, well, but y'all saw why. Y'all saw why.
I understood.
I knew Julia was gonna be safe regardless, but then Edmund was like, just switch Julia, and I was like, well, Julia is the bestie, so if you want that, Edmund, I want to show loyalty to you, and switch her. And I felt bad for Nathan, but he didn't go that round.
When I first saw that, I was like, that's the Robyn I know. That's the Robyn I play games with. That's the Robyn who I would sit in minis and watch and be like, why is Robyn doing this? But I'm living for it every second of it, as long as it's not aimed at me, which it usually hardly ever is. But it's so much fun to see it. So I was very excited to see that. And I was like, that's Robyn. And everybody who was offended or upset, I was like, what is wrong with you? Y'all act like y'all ain't never seen Robyn play before. But some of them haven't. And some of them
most of them haven't. So
most of them haven't. So I was like, well, welcome to the world of Robyn.
I'm bored too, I'm just like, let's liven the party up.
That is my favorite line of Robyn. Robyn in games like, I'm bored, let's do something. And just they get up and it's like, oop, well, don't bore Robyn. So I personally, I enjoyed it. I lived for it. I watched and I was like, but then I was like, but she didn't switch, but they didn't switch Nathan when Nathan was the only one that said a name.
Right.
It would have been more, like, it would have, I was like, it would have been more like she would put the
Right.
period on the exclamation point and
I
like,
mean what I
fine.
say.
Right, I
But
mean what I
here's the thing,
say. Nathan said a
didn't-
name. Nathan
It
gets
didn't
switched.
put a
But
target. Yeah, it didn't put a
Yeah,
target
and I'm
on Robyn's
lucky
back.
because even when Nathan was like, he was, and this is, well, I think this episode already aired, but like when Nathan got in power, like he still placed me at the top of the list, so it
Right.
didn't affect anything. So that's what I am grateful for, and that's what I was hoping for when I did that, because I'm like, I don't feel like I'm gonna make waves anyway with that. I'm gonna blend back in the background, and that's why I take these moments, because right now my gameplay, I mean, now it's showing a little more, but after that, it was kind of like I faded into the background a little bit, and then now I'm more up in the foreground again.
But that's smart game moves. You don't want to, be loud, bowdy, starting out, kind of like how some people are, and it's putting a target on their back. You're doing minimum, but
yeah,
then you're starting to make momentum.
My thing is like you come in quietly, you kind of observe. I knew where the lines were drawn. I know who's where and their allegiances are. It's just I kind of kept it more low key because I kind of was playing in the middle and playing both sides. So trying to keep both happy,
I think you were writing the line very well from what we've seen. Like people weren't coming after you, but then you could see who you were close to, and like who would, and it always seemed to happen. The people you were close to were in power or had some kind of power, and so it was like you didn't have to do anything extra in order to stay safe. All you had to do was just tote the line a little bit and allow them to do the work. But like people who you weren't close to and people who didn't understand the connections you had, like the Jada and even Phaedra, at some they were very confused. Audrey, they were very confused at why you were like nobody was. Why would you? Especially when Mona saved you, they're like, why would Mona save Robyn? Robyn, they didn't understand the connections that you be making behind the scenes, and I love that. Now, like I said, we know you, and so we know that is what Robyn is going to do. Robyn's going to go and be chill, observe, and then make sure they have all the connections within the right people. So
yeah, and that's the thing about the game is that I honestly knew there was an alliance. There was an alliance with Obi, Laurel, Xena, and Jada, Phaedra, Audrey were kind of in that as well. And I don't remember if it was that morning when Obi saved me from the bottom 5. I don't remember if it was that morning and the morning before. All the days kind of blend together because we sometimes did 2 challenges a day or something like that. So everything blends together. But it was one of the days. Again, we're not allowed to talk any gameplay when the cameras are not rolling. But again, nobody can monitor all of that. You know what I mean? So we would wake up. Some of the girlies would have to start filming at like 8 or be ready by 8 to go start the filming. Yes. So Obi, of course, she had to wake up very early to do her makeup because she took like an hour or so to do her makeup, hair, whatever. And then I would also wake up early just because there were so many people and I wanted to shower before everyone else. So I would get up like the earliest I could and shower and everything. This is also behind the scenes. So Mona was in the bathroom one day, like doing her makeup and everything like that. And of course I wanted to shower and she wanted to, I was like, you don't have to leave, because we're both trans together and we both have, similar
but
bodies
I'm
or
finna
whatever.
get butt naked. So.
Right. So I was like,
shower.
I told her, I was like, I don't mind like showering in front of you because we're like one and the same and I feel comfortable. And I think that's what also solidified kind of our body, like literally, because in this shower that I took a shower in, it was like a glass. Like you could see, it wasn't even like a shower curtain, nothing, because it was a fancy bathroom. So I showered in front of this girl while she's putting on her makeup. Obviously, she's not watching me. She's putting on her makeup. And she's like talking to me as I'm showering. We're like making plans. She's telling me who she's with and asking me who am I with? And I was like, well, I'm with Julia. And she's like, do you think Julia is going to work with us? And I'm like, yes, I think Julia will. And, of course, they offered me an alliance, because I'm never the one to like start an alliance, because I'll never be the leader of an alliance, because the leader always goes down with the ship. I'm always going to go stick onto an alliance, that one, of course, comes and approaches me. And of course, they approached me first with this alliance. And of course, I knew what my place was going to be in it. I knew I wasn't going to be the highest ranking in that alliance, and they could cut me at any point. But again, that was still a way of securing myself with a bunch of people in the house. And then I think at some point, Edmund, I don't know if he solidified an alliance or we had just it was an unspoken thing that we were working together. But because we didn't like solidified anything, I think that's why I kind of did what I did in this episode, which we're gonna get into. But yes, that's just a little behind the scenes tea. There is that we are literally getting ready in the morning, and she kind of, talked to me about the alliance and everything, and I was like, okay.
Well, that's why I said I was kind of be afraid to be in alliance with Mona Lisa, because we see what happened with her people. Rest in peace, Nina. We love you, Queen. But I'm like, I don't know. But Mona,
and yeah, that got me a little bit scared also when that was happening, because I was like, not them cutting their own people. I was like, wait a damn minute.
But okay, I think this is a good segue into discussing the episode. We can jump into the episode and talk about it, because like we said earlier,
lot.
Things started to shake up. We were warned after the pre-jury game and the comeback game happened that things was going to shake up from this point on, and boy, did it ever.
The feathers were ruffled.
Feathers were ruffled. It was
they were ruffled.
Were they rustled or ruffled? Ruffled or rustled?
That was funny. That's like a meme moment. No, it's ruffles are chips. And then Edmonds is like, yeah, okay.
It is ruffled feathers, though. Ruffled.
They ruffled them up.
Dying. I was like, not ruffled. Not like ruffled hands.
Like, okay, yeah, sure.
It was ruffled. The tables was shaking. The things was moving. Folks was doing stuff.
Appropriate title for the episode.
Definitely appropriate. So I think we jump in and we find out that they're going to be tethered this round. And I was very like,
feather twist, and I hated it.
I was like, okay. At first, I thought when they said tethered, y'all know what my head went back into the mini games. Like, they're gonna have to vote together, and duo is gonna leave today. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. But that's not what they mean. They literally meant they were tethered together. They gave them a string. Here's your end.
Just for the deliberation, you have to be tethered. Right.
Here's your end. Let's go.
Mona put me with herself, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, so I wrote down like who was tethered to who. Mona's the one who chose who was tethered to who. Obviously, she picked Edmund and Nick first.
Of course.
Then we have Julia and Austin, followed with Phaedra and Nathan, Robyn and Mona, and then Jaden and Laurel.
Jada, yeah.
Yeah. So what? As we just said, were you not happy with your tether? That's not who you want to be tethered with.
No, because at that point, I kind of knew everyone wanted Edmund out, and again, Phaedra was in the bottom, and I was like, I want to get out Phaedra, but again, Mona's working with Phaedra, so going with her, I'm gonna have to be tethered to this girl and go up to people. I can't campaign for her ally to go. Right. So that was really hard. So I had to act like now I have to just kind of vote out Edmund and like do that because that's what she wants us to do. And plus she has this exposed card that is gonna expose both, and she's threatening to do it. So now I'm gonna have to like now campaign for admin, even though for me, I need admin in the game because it's always going to keep admin and Mona going after each other, and
Yep.
they're going to always go after Laurel. And where am I? Not in the crossfires, baby. Robyn is sitting back in the back,
Right.
watching everything go on. Like that gift you made, Tajja, of them arguing across from me,
You're
and
like,
I'm just like, yeah, that's me. So I didn't want admin out, but of course they're so gung ho on like getting admin out. So I'm just like, well, I can't campaign for anyone else, and I wish I could, and I wish I had whispered it to other people too as well.
wrote a
Yeah.
note like Audrey. She's like, here. No.
Yeah, and then me and Mona got to like sit on that big white couch. And
Your
we got
favorite
to
couch, as you
talk,
said.
and yeah, you know, I started telling her some things because I wanted, you know, I really want to trust her in this game, you know. As I said, being, you know, one of the only other trans person on the show, I really wanted to work with her. I wanted
Mhm.
us to be together and show the representation together and like go far. And that's why I was like, I even did some dad Giesling shit, which I hate that I did that, but I really swore on my mom, and I was like, I never do that, but I had to be like, I need you to trust me because I really do have your back, and I
Mhm.
did, you know, have her back, and then she kind of like snaked me in the episode by kind of telling admin everything that we just said, and I'm like, I literally just told you like we have to play in the middle, and I'm playing into admin's
Mhm.
bullshit like because I trust you that much, and then you're gonna go tell him, and it's like I just swore to you on something that is sacred to me, and you just kind of just
Put
broke
you in
that
that
in.
position.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just broke that, and a lot of it didn't show. Of course, I didn't think this was recorded, but while we were all waiting for the votes to happen, I was silently sitting there just like moping because I was just like, this is about to like ruin my game here, you know? Because I'm like, at that time, I was playing very well, you know?
Mhm.
Edmund and I, we had a good relationship. I had a good relationship on that side, and then I had a good relationship with the other side, and then she just ruined it all. And I was like, that's why I hate this twist, because if I was not with her, then I wouldn't tell her all that shit.
Well, that's what I wanted to like ask about because I know y'all were on the couch together,
Yes.
and Mona, where did Mona come up? Did Mona tell you that Edmund said that you, him, and Julia were three, or where did she come up with that?
Sorry, I needed to sip. As y'all see in the show, Mona likes to come up with stories. She is the one that started the story of Nick and Edmund, you know, night one. That because, you know, of course, before we all met each other night one, we were all sequestered in different locations, you know, before we all met or whatever. So, of course, we had two different places. So Nick and Edmund just happened to have been at the other place and came together, and then automatically they were associated together because of Mona. And she started telling everyone that, and I even started thinking it like, do they know each other? Maybe she knows something I don't know about like the community, because you know, I don't know everyone in this community. I don't know if there were some from some outside work community that they've met. You know, I don't know, are they friends that applied together, you know? So all these scenarios came in my head. But yeah, I feel like she just be making up stuff, and I think I may have bought into it at the time because I wanted to trust her so much, like I blindly was following a lot of things she was saying. And plus,
Mhm.
again, I'm never the head of the snake, so if anything were to happen, it would be her that was getting cut off and not me. Um, so you know, yeah, I think she told me that Edmund said that. Do I believe that he told her that? No, because like, why would he say? I think he would take Phaedra and Nick over me and Julia, or maybe he would take Julia. I don't know if he would really have taken me to the end. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, I think she made that up. And I think she just made that up because in the last, is it that same challenge? Yeah. Nathan, the Nathan one, when we were all in the, when Nate, Edmund and I were in a team together, and we went to talk to Julia
Mm-hmm.
in the corner, just like socializing. I think because she's an observer, she noticed things. I
Very
won't.
paranoid observer.
Yeah, I won't. Yeah,
Very.
I won't fault her for that. I mean, we were talking about her in that, so that was a good observation.
Yes.
We were talking about her. But I was I was in that part. I was defending her, like I wouldn't put her in the bottom because she saved me. Because I don't do people like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that's where she got that idea from, because we were all three talking together, and she may have thought we were like a trio, but at that point I was really more with Julia and Nathan and Austin to some extent, and really admit, like, they were like my core people, like, that I would ride for, and then the others were kind of just like, okay, they're kind of going after each other, they kind of want to do something together, I'm gonna go along with it, whatever.
Well, speaking of Nathan, baby boy just could not catch a break this episode. If I ever seen a plane crash, oh my gosh! Because we get Phaedra and Nathan were tethered together. They go outside, kind of have conversations. Phaedra was grilling his ass.
Phaedra was letting him have it.
Which, by the way, I love to see the gameplay from Phaedra, because I didn't see a lot of it while I was there. So I'm glad some of it made the edit.
Yeah, Phaedra was letting him have it, and well deserved, because like it was just a very bad acting job for Mona Lisa. So it kind of just
I rubbed it till this day. I'm like, I don't know why y'all even came with that fake ass charade, because baby, nobody bought it. And even after Nathan was still trying to go with it. You know, and I'm like, baby, just let it go. Let it go. We know.
It was so bad.
The
and
acting
it was just
was
like
Pornhub bad, baby.
It was definitely, as my friend Tajja said, it was giving us very Kids' Choice Awards acting. You know, very Kids' Choice.
Straight to DVD.
Right, straight a B-list movie acting, you know. And like Nathan was trying to give us a primetime Emmy award winning acting job.
You know what? That's one thing about him, though. At least he like stuck to it and was like,
right.
We came up with this.
He tried.
He was trying to stick with it.
He was giving the college try. He was doing it for the Gipper. He was doing it the best he could for whatever he had. And his acting partner gave nothing. It was just like, it's like having Denzel Washington acting with Paris Hilton. It was just like not cute at all. Just not happening. It was just not cute. It wasn't. So it just fell apart. And Phaedra was not believing anything that he was saying, but Nathan was still trying to say.
I mean, because it was blatantly obvious. It was such a bullshit.
Well, I was gonna say, while they're having this discussion, Nathan goes ahead to tell Phaedra that he's targeting Edmund, and then I think he told Phaedra that Mona Lisa said that Phaedra, Edmund, and Nick were a trio. But then Phaedra's like, the little hamster's running in her mind, like, what is really going on? And so that like kind of transpires later in the episode, where, and it's crazy because Phaedra's talking to Mona about like, well, let's ask him, and Mona's like, you, and Nate's like, huh? I feel like I'm seeing Nate's like game just like do, and it's gonna explode. And I'm like, oh, Nathan, no, like
blanks. I'm glad that she called him out a bit and was not taking the crap. Like, I actually lived for Phaedra this episode. I was like, get her, Jade. Because I'm like, Nathan, baby. Like, I don't know if he really wanted to work with Mona. I didn't know if, what was I thinking of? I'm high as fuck. I didn't know if he really wanted to work with
Mona.
I didn't know if he wanted to work with Phaedra or not. I didn't know if he wanted to work with Mona, if that was a charade or whatever. I don't know. But I'm like, girl, at that point, just let the hurt go, let the skit go, and just let Phaedra know the truth. I don't know if it was because Phaedra and Mona are like, we saw the relationship there, and maybe that's why he didn't want to like say anything to her about Mona, like, you know, because I would be like, girl, that was a fake charade. Mona was
Yeah.
like,
Well,
you
I
know,
don't think
I said
anyone
that
would
Mona
say.
wanted to take power. I know, like, I even did about it, but I'm like, why are you just keeping up with this and making, as Phaedra said to him, like, it's making you look shady,
It's
you
making
know,
you. What she say?
and
Fake,
express.
fake as hell.
Right, make you look
I was like,
fake, and it's making you, because he didn't stick to his deal of like putting Edmund in the bottom or whatever he said they was gonna do, you know.
Yeah. It didn't look. The longer he kept on with it, it just made it look worse and worse and worse. Like even if you don't tell Mo, you know, I think once people started questioning him about it, he should have just been like, "Look, yeah, it was the fake. We did what we did because we wanted Xena gone.
Yeah, because that's
On
when
your
Xena's
move,
gone. Like, there's no enemy. It's like out of that, really.
on your move."
yeah.
Like,
Well, you see later down the road when it's, I think it was like Nick and Edmund talking to Phaedra and
mhm.
Nathan, and then like Laurel and Jada are kind of like right there. Nick even like digs into him and was like, she's trying to put it on you. Like Nick was just like making point after point after point, saying this was ultimately Mona's decision. So why are y'all keeping up with
Because
it?
yeah, we all
It
know
just it
this.
just
Like,
was like
why?
very hullabaloo.
Right. It
No
was.
reason.
But I will say, Edmund telling Laurel to vote Jada like
Jada.
right in front of Jada. I'm like, you disrespectful as hell. Couldn't be me.
I mean, I'm like, did she? I don't. Apparently,
Just gonna
Jada
open my
didn't.
window, but I'm listening because I got my headphone in. It's getting hot in here.
Apparently, Jada didn't listen. Wasn't listening to Edmund at the time. But like, I don't know how you don't hear somebody say your name because I don't care what I'm doing.
I'm
If
like,
somebody, if I hear,
No, listen, baby. I have ears everywhere.
uh,
I don't know how she did not hear that because she was full on in that other conversation, not listening. And I was like, "Hey, girl."
no,
you
baby,
gotta
I
look
could
at
talk.
all your
Mm-mm.
angles, look at all your exits.
You could be.
And I
I could be.
mean, she had no reason to kind of be afraid anyway, because there was not going to be as we see, it wasn't like a majority vote.
Right.
It was a power, but that's what you have to always. You have to,
Exactly.
with
I
your
can never be
voting,
comfortable. Never
you
ever be
always
comfortable.
Yeah.
have to like make sure, because you never know what will be played and expose
Mm-hmm.
a secret advantage, something.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Something.
know, for the first few votes, like I try to throw my vote somewhere than what the majority was doing.
Right. Okay. So after everybody's tethered and talking, and we see Julia really wants is her and Austin were like, we got to get rid of
Jada.
Jada.
Jada. Like, let's
I
do Jada.
honestly,
And I
you
was
know,
like,
Where did
yes.
that come from?
I, you know, I'm as shocked as you guys are, like watching that on my screen. I'm just like, I don't remember if Julia was coming to me with Jada's name. I don't remember, but I know I didn't want to vote Jada at that point at all. So I don't know what the beef is there, but I guess you know Jada was, you know, essentially playing a really good game too. You know, she was in this power alliance. She had really good social connections with people. As you see, she didn't go out in the majority of the votes, and people. She was kind of like, I don't want to. That's a mean way to say it. She's kind of like just a step up from kind of like what Audrey was doing in terms of like gameplay. Like I could, they're like similar in the way they play. I just think Jada had a little more of a connection with people that would actually have
Well,
her back over like
that's
Audrey.
that's what I was gonna ask because I know Edmund was kind of gung ho on Jada because you know we seen in the episode he kind of laid into her about like no gameplay, she's done this before, etc., etc. So like, do you think? And I don't think we've seen really a reason in the episode, but for Julia, maybe hers like you described, like you know Jada was kind of doing good in the majority, kind of. Whereas like Edmund was like, you're not
Yeah,
doing
I
nothing, you
think
suck.
people like myself, Julia, Jada, Audrey, I think even Xena to like an extent, we're just like likable people that
Mm-hmm.
are good socially. We really didn't win challenges, as you guys see. Up, we haven't won any challenges yet, so it's like right now we're kind of connected with everyone because we don't have any challenges or like had to rank anyone, so it's made it easier to make these connections because we haven't had really to get any blood on our hands. So I could see why Julia would want her out because we're pretty much playing similar games, and if you want to, of course, Jada, I think, was even more connected than Julia and myself. So I think like getting rid of Jada, bumps her up a bit, bumps me up a bit in like who's ever alliance that's trying to get us. And at that point, of course, like Mona, Laurel, they wanted us kind of like in their alliance. And then, of course, with Julia, Edmund, of course, saw her as a really good ally. So.
Now, I have a question you may not remember. Like, how between when you run around talking about votes and stuff, how long is that? Like, how long of a period do you guys get to talk
It's
about
like
votes?
I think it's 20 minutes.
A lot
think
happened
that's
in
the
that 20
timer.
fucking minutes. So much. Like,
Oh,
it was literally like a web of this person going to this person. Like, I
that was.
literally did
This is a
a
really.
diagram.
I
It was
don't know
crazy.
if they gave longer time for this, but maybe they didn't. I'm thinking it's still the 20 minutes. But yeah, a lot went on in this deliberating. Like there was so much going on.
It was,
I'm glad that I think the episode captured it really, really good,
mhm.
edited it really good, and it also filled in things like that. Of course, like we didn't know because I didn't know about them switching cards and stuff until that was revealed. Obviously, when Edmund played it, and that was like the real gag of the season.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that.
We watched a lot. Like the editing, good job, Banish, which I did really good because it was a lot of information that they were able to capture in that moment. And kudos to the camera people for always being where they needed to be and when the right conversations were needed to be had because we got to see a little bit of everybody's conversation and a lot of conversations were going on. It was like Evan needs to go, Jada needs to go, Phaedra might need to go. It was like everybody was all over the place and it was a lot, but and like you said, 20 minutes is not a lot of time, but it is when you have all that activity going on and for it to go down like that in 20 minutes and have all that conversation. And I mean, you and Mona shared, like you said, you and Mona had that good long conversation on the couch where you gave, like you swore on your mom's life and grave, and then Edmund and Nick were able to talk and be like, look, this is what's happening. We can't, they coming for me, they coming for you. One of us is going to go if we don't do something. We need to talk to everybody. Nick and Phaedra was going at Phaedra was letting Nick, not Nick, let Nate have it. She was letting Nate have it. She was like, I don't believe any of this, and you ain't sticking to your deal, like you said, because why wasn't Edmund at the bottom in the first place? Blah blah blah, because that's what we're supposed to do. Now what Julie and Austin was like, we're listening, we're talking, yeah, Edmund. No, that's not what we're doing. We don't want to do that. We're going for Jada. And then, but the one tether that confused me was like Jada and Laurel, because we see them talking to people, but we don't really see them talking to people. Like, I felt like Jada felt like you said, Jada felt really comfortable in this moment because she was very connected to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So she felt comfortable and she felt like she didn't have to do anything. And Laurel really has never been in trouble this entire time. So she didn't feel a sense of urgency to do anything either because she was safe. She wasn't in trouble. So if both of them felt comfortable, they didn't really talk to a lot of people. And that was the only tether for me that I was like, what are they doing? Like, are they? Which is weird.
Fine if this was like a game with no powers,
right?
But those powers be fucking shit up, like we've seen in the vote.
Yeah,
get to.
I also think it was a thing of because And I don't know if Jada said it in the episode or she said it in her exit interview, which, by the way, if people want to see some exit interviews, which were not filmed by the crew, they were filmed by people's iPhones, and these exit interviews were filmed by Derek Washington, the bestie. So he'll always post them on his social media. Mine is kind of spicy. I'm not, yeah.
Oh, wait, what? No, okay.
We're just gonna edit that out.
So
I would love to see them if someone could.
No,
like,
everyone gets one, by the way. Everyone.
Okay.
No matter like what your placement
Oh yeah, because
is.
it's an exit interview, not like
yes, everyone gets like their moment to like have a talk with like people before they leave. Anyway,
okay.
No,
So,
you can go, Lana.
Go ahead. No, I'm good. You go ahead.
Okay, well, I was gonna say,
what was the question? Did you all ask me a question?
No, we didn't ask a question. We were just really talking about.
I will say during this.
I will. Yes, that's what I was talking about with Jada and Laurel. Sorry, I lost that. My sister was showing me her Baby Yoda slippers. They're cute. Yeah, I think Jada said it in the episode, or she said it in her like exit interview thingy. I don't remember which one, but I think she wanted to kind of break off of like Laurel and Mona and all of them, and I think she wanted to kind of make a move and go to the other side and kind of like mend things with like Edmund and Nick. I think she had said that in the episode, but of course she was with Laurel, so she couldn't like make the move that she wanted there. You know, I think they could have jumped on somebody else like together, because I think although Jada felt safe, I also think because of what happened to Xena the previous round, I think it was more of like, okay, she does have the majority alliance right now, but you know, they could cut her at any point. They could see her as expendable as well. You know, so I think I think it really sucked. Again, this I mean, it's a good twist in theory, because it really, I think without the tethers in this game, in this round, I think things would have went differently, but I think it really played a big part in what happened this round. So
yeah, I hate
it.
I think what happened with you happened with Jada. I think Jada was tethered with, like you said, with someone who she really didn't particularly want to be tethered with, and she couldn't say what she wanted to say to people because Laurel.
I think even she was trying to save Edmund at that point. I think she also noticed that, you know, he's a big target in front of me.
Right.
He ain't coming for me.
And that's what she said in her. She was like, I would rather like start making my own moves. But I feel like it was just, you know, as we see, too little too late to start making moves when you can't make moves when you're tethered to somebody who is stalling you from making those moves. So next, Tajja, what happened next with all of your glorious notes?
No, I do want to say one thing is, even though I don't particularly am in favor of Phaedra, that's a real ally to have, because she told them, I'm not voting Jada out. No, I'm not. And they were like, oh, blah, blah. And you know, you had Nick, Edmund, Phaedra was obviously in the bottom, and then they were like, we need to do Jada. She's like, I'm not doing Jada. They're like, she's like, well, I'm gonna have to do one of y'all. So, you know what I mean? And then what she ended up doing, we won't get into that. But
we'll talk about that later.
I have my thoughts.
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
Say during the episode, you know, when Robyn was talking to Mona, and Robyn said stuff about their mom and stuff like that. Robyn didn't just change their mind out of the blue. Here's what had happened. It's you know, Robyn was talking to Mona about, you know, Mona, them, and I think Julia being a 3, and then this is good gameplay, because Robyn's you know, Edmund wanted to put you in the bottom, etc., etc. You know, that's gonna grasp me into to Mona. The only thing about Mona is she doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut, because she ends up telling Edmund something that's I never said to Robyn, did I say that? And Robyn's like, yeah.
Right, because I can't lie.
You can't lie, because you just told Mona.
You should be able to trust your ally not to throw you under the bus, because literally.
And I was like, no, that broke me. not only that she kind of broke that trust between us, because I was really trusting her, and her, Julia, and myself was really is the final three that I want. That's my ideal, and yeah, she really broke that trust, and also it really hurt me because Edmund's voice really sounded hurt. Like I really hurt his feelings, like because I didn't know how much of an ally he viewed me as. Yes, we've had game
Right.
talks and stuff, but we never solidified anything. So again, I mean, that's how I play games. I always, if we're not solidified in a group or like a duo or whatever, then you're not kind of like my priority list, and that
Right.
sucks to like say, but that's just how it is. If I spoke to this person and they've already given me their allyship. And that's why I felt really hurt, because I'm like, oh no, did he really see me more of an ally than I thought we were? And it really hurt me.
If so, he should have communicated that way more. Because when I play games, my people know who they are. You know what I mean? And I always try to like reassure them in games. But Robyn, so the $1 million question. Okay, Robyn, you still wanted to trust Mona Lisa after they took power over saving someone who was one of their allies?
I mean, yes, because I trust, again, I'm an emotional player, and it means a lot to me. Tajja, you know this. It's like, especially on reality shows, there's little to no trans representation, okay? Like, they don't want to cast us for whatever reason. Big Brother hasn't had a trans person since BB17, the US. And then we had Julie Boo, and she went out first, like sick. So having two of us in there meant so much to me that I turned a blind eye to a lot of the things she did in the game, and again, she was the head of the snake. So like everything would come back to her and bite her in the ass while I was again in the corner. But then at that point where she kind of told Edmund, and then I have to like be like, well, yeah, you did say that, because I literally just told her. I was kind of backed into a corner, like, well, now I'm
so unfair.
My game is kind of like gonna be in the forefront, where I could potentially now be in danger because of her opening her mouth. And I was hurt by that, and I felt bad that I hurt someone that I could have potentially be in an alliance with, and probably would have been a better choice of being an ally.
Choices.
Like looking back at it, but again, I would want to stick to her to, us to be two trans girls at the end, and storyline, blah blah blah.
I know. When I saw you on the couch all sad, I'm like, I want to hug Robyn so bad.
I was
I'm
so
like, come in mama's arms, come here. I got you.
Sad. I was so upset, and that's why she even apologized to me there. But I'm like, doesn't even matter. Like, you can't. In the heat of the,
It don't matter now.
Like, it's in the heat of the moment.
Right.
I get it. Emotions are high, but I'm like, you gotta calm down. Not even think about that. You already knew you were voting Edmund. People are voting Edmund. There was no need for that to even come up. Like,
but
just
I
be
will
like,
say the dramatic.
Like, you never talked about me. No, okay, that's it. But she knows the truth.
But look, Banishment ate up when they had like the dramatic music playing in the background, when you just like slumped over, you're like, yeah, I know. And I was like, oh my God, this is so dramatic. Kind of like a little tear coming down now. Okay, so we got past, Mona kind of throwing you.
I got a lot of screen time this episode.
Right. Edmund, Phaedra had said that Edmund was like, she heard Edmund crying because he was upset over how the votes were gonna go. I wanted to get into, this was like before the voting shenanigans, because if people haven't watched it yet, they need to watch it, because literally it's like Nick and Edmund going to Phaedra and Nate, Nick and Edmund going to Austin and Julia, then Phaedra and Nate talking to Laurel and Jada and Robyn and Mona, talking about, we're doing Edmund.
I also want to say
crazy.
They did a really good job, I think, trying to get the target off their back. I think it would have, if Mona didn't try to threaten people with the exposed. Because they were like, if you didn't vote for Nick and
I'm
Edmund,
gonna know.
yeah. And I think that kind of scared some people, like
Mhm.
Julia and Austin, who did want to vote Jada. Which also I was trying for them not to vote Jada because again, I didn't want Jada out as well. And I didn't know Julia had such a vendetta. But I did feel bad about telling Julia to vote Edmund, and then they played that card, and then um, Mona played her card, and then child, I didn't raise my hand when they said who voted for Edmund.
Well, let's talk about the cards because Keaton had given Edmund a block a vote card, right? That
Mm-hmm.
was like so many episodes ago. Then we find out that Nick actually found an advantage card saying like all votes against the person it's played on are negated.
Yeah.
What I when I first watched it, I didn't know that they had switched it. So I was just like, I'm like, well, why wouldn't they why wouldn't they do this?
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people didn't think about maybe a card was being played because one, we didn't know that Nick had found that card, and then we knew that Edmund had a card, but we already knew what the card was to block
just
a
for
vote.
one vote, and
For one
if
vote,
it's a
so I'm like, it's
majority,
not
that's
gonna
not going
count.
to count. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's why a lot of people didn't count the cards in because we didn't know Nick
So
found that card.
it comes to the vote, and Edmund's like, "Hey, bitches, all votes are negated towards me." So and then Nick, said that he played a card to block one person's vote. He blocks Phaedra's vote, and then we kind of get like little bit of like a fight. I wasn't buying it. Like when they were like, "Yes, I voted for you." Yep, I had to do that. I was kind of just like watching like.
But then, which a lot of people didn't catch. But then afterwards, he was all like, "I don't know. Jada had left the room already. If she had
didn't
left,
leave yet. She didn't leave it. When he stood up, he's like, "Some of chaos. I had to. Sorry."
Yeah, and then he said something about like, "I lied. I didn't vote for him or whatever."
Yeah.
After she was leaving,
Which
but
for
I
me
don't
was
know if
apparent
people
when
caught that.
Phaedra's like, "Well, I
Because
voted
when
for my
Jada
fellow."
left in her exit interview thingy, she did say that she thought I voted for her. And I was like, oh, she was like, Edmund and Robyn voted for me. And I was like, did you not hear Nick say he voted for you? Anyway.
Right. Like, Nick literally was set up as like, spell out chaos.
But it's fine because she didn't know
Sorry.
where my vote was. So.
Right. Which, besides, Lord.
Which
Jesus.
it was on Pedro.
Which,
my
rest in
vote
peace,
was on.
Jada. We love you.
Yeah, Jada went on off 2 votes from Edmund and Nick. And I voted Phaedra that round, and Phaedra voted for herself. So if Nick didn't play the card on her, then it would have been a tie, and then we would have to revote between Phaedra and Jada. But I think at that point, I think Jada would have went still. I think because Julie was trying to get her out, and
Julie was like, "Okay, this is the time."
And I think, yeah, like with Laurel and Mona, like in their alliance, I think Phaedra was higher than Jada, so they would have voted Jada out. So I think Jada goes regardless. So even though I wanted Phaedra out.
The only thing that like kind of I know it upset me and upset a lot of people. Jada took that like a champ. Like, Edmund, like if someone's sitting next to me and they're like blah blah blah, I'm be like, bro, what is? But Jada just like was just looking at him.
Yeah, that's how Jada
is. So
she's very classy. She doesn't argue with anyone, and I think she also realized that, he's a big target in the game right now. He's trying to say what he got to say. His emotions are getting the best of him in this game. And I think, she's kind of like she's an understanding person. So I think she understood then and there, like, it's not about her in general. He's going to say what he needs to say in order to stay. And that's if that's like reaming on someone else's game and throwing her kind of under the bus, then that's what he needs to do.
I mean,
better than me.
Yeah, because like at that point, she was already gone. She was already gone. She was voted out. I didn't feel like it was necessary to try to crap on her game as she's already voted out. And like, even if you're emotional, that's fine. That's fine. You can be emotional. You can be, relieved that you're still here, that you made this move, you played this card, you did what you had to do to stay. But I feel like in that moment, like going after Jada after she's voted out, saying you ain't got no game, you ain't do nothing in this game, you did this exact same thing. Like I get that being your pitch, but
Mhm.
once they're done, once the deal is done and the deed is done, let it go. You don't have to pitch
Mhm.
anymore. You stop pitching now, and now it's like give them a moment for them to leave gracefully and without having to go out with you reaming coming down on them. But like
Because
you
I
said,
watched it the whole time. I was like,
yeah, I was like, oof,
Yeah.
I was
oof.
like, ooh, it
I
couldn't have been
felt
me because I
bad,
got a pillow or something. No, but
but
Edmund
yeah,
had to apologize. So like
Yeah.
kudos for him for being man enough because a lot of
hmm
people
hmm
will do stuff like that and then like still like try and justify how they were acting, the behavior. So like
I did it because I
Edmund,
wanted to get the girlies a show, blah blah blah.
right?
Like,
Which I'm just like, this is not Bad Girls Club.
right.
It can be. No, that's why I seen kind of a difference with like how Jada takes things and how Mona took things, because Mona was not afraid to pipe back like you're
Mhm.
wasting your breath, you're blah blah blah. So that kind of dynamic was, I was like, oh my gosh, I live. But you know what, he apologized, moving forward. um that's all we got so far.
That's all we got.
Yeah.
Bam's just like, y'all, I'm gonna give y'all a little good something to make y'all wait for it. Like, oh my
Right.
god.
You got.
No, they gave us 48 minutes of pure bliss. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
listen, that's when I was working too, and I had to wake up like 4 in the morning. I was like, baby girl, I'm gonna watch this episode out and just have a little bit of a sleep because the next day was my last day anyway. So like, I'm fine.
It was definitely good. We waiting on the next one, Banishment. We would have loved to have 2 episodes to talk about, but it's fine.
You
We'll
fed
wait.
us good. Thanksgiving
You fed
dinner.
us, so
No, you
we
said it
will.
so good.
You fed us, so now we will take. We took our nap. We slept it off. Now we waiting on the next one. We're hungry
60
Yes,
again.
seconds.
I want to say, I just want to give a shout out to management for taking over after
Mhm.
all the bullshit that was happening behind the scenes. And one thing I keep saying to the cast and everyone else, like, you know, if if it all comes out whenever it comes out, I'm so grateful
Mm-hmm.
for it coming out at all, and people are getting to see not just me, but this entire cast shine because I think everyone is unique in their own way. I think the casting for this season is top notch, and I think for people, most of them, this is their first game ever, in the OR community or LRG community, and they're freaking killing it. They're bringing the gameplay, they're bringing the drama, and really great cast. And I'm so glad that people get to see us all shine. I don't think there's any dull characters, even for the people that went pre-jury. I think if those people were to stick around, you would have seen how good of game players they are, and how well they would have insulated themselves. Unfortunately, the cookie crumbles how it does, and I'm so excited for y'all to see the next episodes because I feel like this last episode and this next episode coming really for me showing my kind of gameplay and me coming into my kind of finding my footing in the game finally.
Okay, so wait. So basically, what I'm hearing, Tasha, and you can tell me if you're hearing the same thing. We might have to have Robin back next week to talk about the next episode because that's when they come into their own. So why not have them come back and talk about it some
You
more?
know what? We might, our people will call your people.
We'll have
We'll
our
let,
people call your people.
I think we can probably work.
Yes, Kwame. I'm down. As long as I'm free, I'll come and talk. And even if it's not an episode about me, I'm coming to talk and give whatever little tea I could give, any tidbits. Um, so yeah, because I know a lot, and I could, yeah.
We love that. Well, I think that's on that note, we can say good night because
Oh no, thank you for having me.
we had a great time, Robin. You are an amazing guest, and as
I
always,
know this is a cute panel.
I mean,
This
cute.
is
Like I said,
this is like, like women of color, like or POC, like this is a dangerous final three right
it
here.
feels right to me. I don't know.
Listen,
It
there's
feels
been
right.
many times people have sat in final two with us and been like, damn. Damn.
Look,
You mean
honestly,
y'all? To me, I always lose.
please. I don't know why Robyn
gotta
keeps
get
talking about
some.
they always lose.
I don't remember the last time I won a game.
It was just the other day.
Yeah, but that was a trivia game.
You won
was
though. You
not-
won
That
though.
was no social
You
strategy
won Power
involved.
2 against me like 6 months ago.
Do those games count?
Oh,
I don't
No.
know.
oh, okay. See.
I'll still take my damn
And on
wins,
that
though.
note,
Oh no, on that note, we
let's
will
not
say
get messy of it.
okay, we cannot even we just go in this and say good night. Thank y'all for watching. Please subscribe to the Cup Reality. Follow us on Twitter, the Cup at the Cup _ Reality. Follow all of us on Twitter. You see all those socials there. If you're not already following us, I don't know what's wrong with you, and I don't know what's going on in your life, but you need to do that. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on YouTube. Hit that like, subscribe button, all the buttons you need to push that you want to follow, and get every notification that the Cup has out, because we have lots of episodes coming out. We have lots coming up. Eurovision, Drag Race, Big Celebrity Big Brothers coming up. The Amazing Race. We got a lot happening. Survivor South Plus, Australia. We got a lot happening. So come join us, follow us, get the notifications. And on that note, we'll say goodbye. Bye-bye now.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
No.
Okay.
Please. Okay, go.
Adios.
Go. We're done.
Okay.
We're done.